They got me. They got me good.
This is probably going to be the #1 way that any scammer ever would take money directly out of your Cash App and stick it into their own account. I'm going to be explaining how they do it in this video today. Now, just to make it completely clear, this method is illegal and you are not supposed to do it. And this video is strictly for educational purposes, only to better protect you from getting scammed by these kind of scams. So one of the most common kinds of Cash App scam is basically just identity fraud. So what people will do is that they will go on darknet sites where they will pay sometimes as little as $30 for a full stolen credit card. Now, how this credit card got stolen, there's a bunch of different ways that it could happen, or it was a debit card and it was someone's identity and they have their name and their number attached to it. Sometimes even also having their SSN. Now, obviously this can be very dangerous, but a very, very common method that people who will buy these will do is that they'll go on Cash App and they'll create a Cash App account. Now, sometimes this Cash App account won't actually be let to process because Cash App as a service will notice that, hey, this person already has a Cash App account. And if someone already has a Cash App account, it's not going to allow you to make a second Cash App account off of that person. So what these scammers will do is that they will either probably use an emulator on their computer, and they will use some kind of proxy or a VPN, which a proxy is just owning a different IP address than the one that you are at your house. And then you just connect to the internet through that proxy, or they'll just use a VPN, a much simpler method, but proxies are generally a little bit more secure for this kind of thing. So after they will register a fake Cash App account using some random person's ID, they will stick in their credit card. Now, Cash App, this is important, provided you don't put in your full name or your SSN, that's your social security number, they will not allow you to do more than $1,000 of transactions per month, which means that you can only send maximum of $1,000 per month. They will not allow you to do any more than that, provided that you don't have your name or your SSN. But fortunately for these kind of people, where if they already have bought someone's identity off the darknet, they already have that information. So they just plug that information in. And since this person doesn't already have a Cash App account, that means that it's kind of just over for them and they can just go in their Cash App and then it's kind of done. So what they'll then do from there is that they'll start slowly charging the person from their bank account into this Cash App that they don't have any access to. And they'll just take money out of their bank account or out of their credit card. And from there, they'll just let it sit in their Cash App. And sometimes Cash App will put it on and just take that money right back. Other times they won't. And it's very inconsistent because Cash App has pretty shitty support overall. And there is kind of a method to prevent this, but I'll explain that at the end of the video. So what they'll do is that they'll just take in a bunch of money and they'll just let it sit in the Cash App account. And then after they let it sit in the Cash App account for a minute, what'll happen is that they will either convert it into crypto within Cash App and then send it to an off-site crypto address. And then they'll use some kind of crypto money laundering site or service that basically allows them to take a bunch of crypto, shove it in through a bunch of public IPs, where it basically becomes impossible to track this person's transaction through the blockchain. Because if you know anything about crypto is actually infamously not secure. Because if I know your public blockchain number, like if I know your public Bitcoin identifying number, your public wallet address, then I can pretty much permanently know everything that you do with that wallet address. So anybody who says that crypto is like the most secure thing, they're wrong. It's not, because it's basically like if I knew your real name, I could basically just track every transaction that you've ever done. That's not very secure, right? So what these people will do is that they'll just funnel it through a bunch of different IPs, so it becomes very, very hard to track. Or they'll just transfer it into some kind of currency like Monero, and then they'll just go through there. Or sometimes they'll just deposit it into another Cash App account where it becomes harder and harder to track, or they will create basically like a suicide bank account, where the idea is that from the start, this bank account is just meant to funnel in dirty money, dirty scam money, and they know that inevitably it's going to get banned or it's going to get processed. So they just use another person's fake ID and they basically pin it on them. So then they have to go deal with that. That actually happened to my dad once. My dad's name was used for one of these burner accounts, and because of that, he got shit from the IRS, and we actually ended up getting audited from it. So that is a very, very basic overview of the first method that scammers will use on Cash App, and I'm pretty sure most people don't know of that method. However, the second method is much more common. It's basically what they'll do is that they'll just DM you, or if they'll tell you to DM them through Telegram, or they'll DM you on Instagram. They'll just send out these mass spam DMs where it's like, hey, if you send me $10, I'll turn it into 20. And then you're like, that can't be real, right? And then you send them $10 because you're a fucking idiot. And then they send you back 20. This is interesting. Maybe I can make some money. So you send them 20. Then they send you 40. And you're like, you just ejaculate and you're like, holy shit, they're actually for real, even though I don't know their name, and they're making insane returns on the stock market that isn't fucking real. Because anybody who's ever traded stocks knows that there is no such thing as double Xing your money overnight. That's not real. Anybody who ever says that you can do it with the stock market is a fucking liar. Generally, if you spend an entire day of day trading, I'd be surprised if your portfolio went up by 3%. It would be fucking crazy if you, it's not even crazy, it's unheard of if you doubled it. Unless you're like fucking around with options, never think that you can do that kind of thing. Which options, by the way, not only will you lose all your money trading options, but you'll lose more than you already have, so you have to pay that off. Fuck options. Fuck options. Take these doubles options. But to get back to the point, so they'll send you more money, and then you'll take more money from them, and then like a fish on a lure, your mouth will get stuck just like this, and you'll be sending them more money. Before you know, you send them $10,000 and it's over. Now, I guess if you wanted to try, maybe you could try scamming these people. I've seen some people do this with some success. If you're actually interested in me trying that, make sure to leave a comment down below, because I am interested in making a video about it, trying to scam the scammers. But I don't know if I'd recommend that. It kind of just seems like a waste of time. There's a lot of very easy methods and a lot of easy side hustles that you can do where you can just kind of use one of those instead of just trying to like game the system. Just use a free easy method. Actually, I have a bunch of videos about free easy methods, and for the last method of Cashapp, which this is going to be the preventative method, if you want to prevent someone from basically creating a fake Cashapp account, then you should make a Cashapp account. Now, you never know if your identity can get stolen. Maybe you just put in the wrong debit card. I always recommend people that use something like Privacy, which, by the way, I have no reason to promote Privacy. I don't have an affiliate for them. I make no money by saying you should go use Privacy. But if you're gonna buy on a site that you don't know, use something like Privacy, which basically allows you to create these fake debit cards where they have a set amount of monthly transaction limit. And it's also really great. You can use it for like free trials for shit, so you don't actually have to go through and pay it a bunch. And I would highly recommend that you guys try out something like Privacy, because I'm a huge fan of Privacy. I have no link for it. I have no affiliate. Just Google Privacy and find it. So what you just got to do is that you got to create a Cashapp account. And if you want, I have a link down below where we will both get rewarded. You'll get $5 and I'll get $5 if you sign up with my link down below. If you want to know a bunch of methods for making some easy money online, I have videos on Temu and I have them on Cashapp, and you can click any single one of them right now.